crop circle has a different activation mechanism, yeah? Every crop circle is different.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so who's making them?
Well, on these, it's very different, but these ones that we're playing with right now, the Pleiadian star systems are the ones that have created these. And they played a lot with the Incans and the Mayas.
Wow. And why is it that there is, why is there an energy, how are they, I'm asking questions like I'm taking all the mystery out of it, but how are they actually created? Because people have seen them being created, and there's actually film footage of these orbs, and it takes very little time for these very intricate, human beings have tried to replicate, and it's taken them weeks to do a much simpler design than what gets laid down in a crop. So is it that they obviously they have different technology, yeah?
Very, very different. And humanity can never create a crop circle as the ones that are already imprinted into a planetary grid system, because it goes beyond moving these elements around and big giant lawnmowers and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
It goes well beyond that. It's being imprinted into the planetary matrix. So if you took a wrought iron little poker and stuck it into a planetary grid system,
yeah,
and into the tectonic plate of the planet, and held it there,
yeah,
and then took it out.
okay,
But you're doing it more so with the emanation of a crystalline force of light.
yes.
I guess humanity would call it lasers, but it goes beyond that. It's being imprinted into the planetary tectonic plates.
Yes.
And it's going to 689 miles, 323 feet, 3 centimeters, 1 millimeter deep into the crust of the planet, which are just accessing the magnetics of the planetary array and creating holes with the Mercury, but also the core of the planet.
Wow.
Which is just diffusing the energy of the core of the planet that's holding the planet in place within the solar system belt. It's also moving as well. Because a lot of these areas, actually all of them, went dormant. And same with the pyramidal structures that are becoming reactivated and so much more heightened from a whole new paradigm level. But also playing universally here, because when you look into the crop circles, dimensionally, but you can even start to see it in this realm more so, you'll watch it beaming off planet. Okay, so these were also presented as markers on the planetary crest.
Okay.
For many different uses, including for humanity's uses. They've been here for eons, but they were discovered when air travel was discovered. Before, it was just different roads.
Is there any significance to the fact that they found with crop circles is that oftentimes there's some kind of aquifers under the water aquifers under the ground where all of the crop circles are. Is there any significance to that, or is that just a coincidence?
No coincidence at all. There actually is water underneath all of them. It's just at different depths. The water is playing a lot with the, well, actually playing completely with the magnetics and cooling off the area, but also keeping forth the purity and the emanation of the magnetics and continuing to let it be magnified, but also keeping the magnetics in alignment.
So whoever made this is this is for our listeners to really get that whoever made those structures, it really is in service to humanity and the shift that we're going through right now, yeah?
Oh, it's huge service. See, that's the most brilliant facet. Even with the reactivations of them, including with the pyramidal structures. And all these Nazca lines and all over the planetary matrix, as these active reactivations are happening from a new paradigm level. You see, it's affecting the planetary templates. It's affecting the grid system of the planet. And it's affecting the gerbons that go right through these areas in hyperdrive. There is no longer a scenic route for them.
In Ireland, when we did a last year to Ireland, We went to the stone circle, and apparently there was energetic line that went, was very precisely made stone circle that not very many people go to. And there was a rock structure that lined up two ancient rocks that had very powerful meaning. Who made those? Who made those rock structures, and why is there such significance to them?
Well, the ones that made the rock circles were the seers and the mystics and the Celtics. They were very much ingrained into the elements, and they were very much influenced from the angelic presences. They were bringing the area into an amplified state, and from an amplified state, they were playing with so many different formations. You call it geometrical structures. Many will call it sacred geometries and all this fun stuff, but they continued to have many different inundations of many different geometrical structures coming to them, all the way to different stone levels coming to them, all the way to different forms of stones for many areas in that whole country. Because the stones just didn't come from the surrounding area. There was a lot more put into it.
Right.
That brought forth a whole different level of dear ones to start creating together and encapsulating together. Because even when you look through it, can you see all the spirals going upwardly and exponentially and downwardly?
Very cool, yeah.
Okay, now that was just made by the mystics and the Celtics and the seers. It was made so much more from the angelic presences that they were playing with.
And does it still hold significance now, or what is the significance now? Going back, why are so many people being called to go back to Ireland? I mean, it's so weird. Every time I go on a trip, I hear all these other people are wanting to go there at the same time. So why is that? Why are people being called to go to certain places, and in this specific case, why is Ireland such a calling right now?
Well, Ireland is going from a very in-depth state of ritualization, a very in-depth state of superstition as well,
okay,
into a very heightened state of starting to see above them and around them so much more that has been happening, that's happening over time. Many of your brothers are beginning to see more, to connect more, and to flourish more, but also all around them, even the planetary grid system around them, is having such a huge activation right now. I was actually on the phone with Ireland for the last 6 linear weeks, several times per week, that dear ones are waking up, all over the place, coming out of a slumber. Even with the musicians in the area, these different tones are presenting. What is this about? See, all of it's shifting over right now in hyperdrive. Even the calling to the area is also connecting the area to the surrounding areas, but also connecting it to the different continental levels and the continental belts as well. You see, you watch this so brilliantly. At one time it was Sedona, other times it's Toronto, other times it's the Bahamas, the Hawaiian Islands. I mean, all of it. All the way to New Zealand, all the way to London. I mean, all of it's amplifying, sweetheart. But it's happening in such a beautiful, beautiful state as these waves are coming and coming and happening and flourishing and flourishing. But the calling there isn't just about the amplifications. The calling there as well is about remembering, re-embodying. Because many that are being called there big time have had many journeys there and are still having journeys there. So one facet is to, I guess you'll say, pick up facets that were somewhat left behind. And what I mean by that isn't that we literally left something behind.
Okay.
But it's opening portals and doorways for dear brothers. And as these doorways and these portals are opening for dear brothers, there's a whole flooding through of reactivations happening for all the journeys they've played with there, even from herbology, all the way to mysticism, all the way through the journeys that they have been playing in there, even dimensionally as well. This goes beyond incarnational journeys. This goes into their own journeys here and now. And they're going there, but they're coming back so much more fully embodied, but also with so many other tools that they've been wanting to be activated, asking to be activated, yearning to be reactivated.